consequence, we should do what is required by the obligations of this democracy, by our faith in God and our faith in each other, to do justice, to love mercy, to walk humbly, and as fellow human beings and fellow Americans, remember, we're unique in all of history as a nation. This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
You guys are trash. You are trash. You are trash. Let me see what she said at the Lester. Let me see what she said at the Lester. Because Joe Biden was mad. He real upset. Joe Biden really mad. Oh no.
You've never.
Joe Biden really mad. He mad. He want to make sure them Asians is protected. You can't tell an Asian, don't tell the Asians go home. Don't tell the Asians go back to your country. Don't tell the Asians or the Chinese or the East Indians don't come. Don't say it to them. Don't talk to them like that. Don't you do it. Don't you dare disrespect the Asians. We got legislation passed because this is America. Because this is America. We got legislation passed. You better not speak against that. Sarara, now you're absolutely right. That was on Black Watch last night, and they shut Black Watch down. Oh my goodness. They tell the blacks and Hispanics of Central America, Kamala Harris, who is a puppet, who is a true puppet to make you believe that she's a black woman. She's not a black woman. Her great-grandfather was a plantation owner in Jamaica, a white man, a so-called white man, a European, a colonizer, an oppressor, was her great-grandfather in Jamaica. And her mother's family comes from India, out there in India. So she's Asian. So they're going to pass the law for you not to say, and I'm not against it, I'm not saying say it to the Asians, but they're going to pass a law to where you can't tell an Asian to go back home. Because I saw something on Black Ink, right? Where they have black and Hispanics at different tattoo parlors where they come together and have their own black businesses and Hispanic businesses are doing all these tattoos. You know, we against tattoos and all that nonsense. But somehow, a couple of years ago, they bring in an Asian tattoo artist. And she marries a black man. And she has a black husband and black baby. So she's down with the struggle now. So last night, last night, I'm watching it on VH1, and she up here talking about something. It's really sad. Look what I found on my doorstep. Chinese people go back to China. She said, it's so wrong to have Asian hate. We should talk about this. And they did a special show, a dialogue about the struggles of Asian people on Black Ink, a black show. Right? So you can't talk against Asians, but Kamala Harris goes to Guatemala and tells brothers and sisters, black people don't come. And she said it twice. She said, don't come, don't come. And if you do come, we will protect our borders. Just imagine that. That sounds like hate speech. If I was to say that to an Asian, why doesn't she go to China and India right now that's dealing with the Delta variant of COVID-19, which is a stronger variant of COVID-19? She should go there and tell them, don't come to America because you're going to spread COVID-19. You can't do that, though. but you damn sure can do it to the weak, to the poor, to the downtrodden, to the people that make grow your marijuana, grow your cocaine, grow your heroin, and come up with all these military gangs in Central America to enforce violence and murder and death. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. If you're Hispanic and you need somewhere to come, you come into the ISUPK. You got refuge here. You have absolute refuge here. You got protection here and refuge here. We'll make sure that everything is all right. That's my stuff, man. That's horrible. Let's see if they got it up. Come on. Vice President Kamala Harris was asked by NBC's Lester Holt. There it is. Let's see.
Progressives for telling potential undocumented migrants do not come to the U.S. She's also
And the sister.
not yet visiting the U.S. and Mexico.
The sister. I gotta give it up to my sister, man. Gotta give it up to the sister. I'm trying to find a video of her. Yes. I think the sister Ephraimite, either Ephraimite or Simeon. She's from the Bronx. And that's the district she represents. And she stood against Kamala Harris. Okay, let me see. Throw out for y'all patience. Just trying to line these videos up so y'all can see them as well.
Harris is facing criticism from some progressives for telling potential undocumented migrants do not come to the U.S. She's also pushing back against complaints about not yet visiting the U.S.-Mexico border.
Quickly put the button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting.
Her response to you haven't been to the border is, and I haven't been to Europe. What is she saying? What is she saying? I haven't been to Europe. What does that have to do with anything which we're talking about? Y'all got a vice president that's dumb too? They thought that they got a vice president to be intelligent because they said Joe Biden was half retarded and senile and old, the oldest president. He don't know what to say and he dumb. So let's get this black woman in here, right, to cater to the blacks and Hispanics. And she's so smart and so intelligent. She's so quick. So her response to you haven't been, she hasn't been to the damn Mexican border herself. The crisis is at the border. She goes to Guatemala, says the most racist, derogatory statement. Don't come. And if you come, we got security on the border and we will act legal, take full legal action. Damn, that sounds like Donald Trump. So now You get asked, why you ain't at the border? How come you ain't just go to the border one time? To see all them babies you got in cages. And on the other side of the border, they got tent villages with nothing but women and children, man. It's so sad. And it's a sister down there, I forgot her name. It's a sister down there who's trying to teach the children. She's teaching the children English and the alphabet and all these things. And she's contacting all these lawyers and politicians to get these families into America. They acting as if America doesn't have any land available. Ask this woman a question. And she's so stupid, she says, I haven't been to Europe. What that got to do with anything?
So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
All right, White House correspondent Jeremy Diamond is live from Mexico City. Jeremy, does it appear that the administration, the vice president, is making any progress here?
Well, listen, there certainly have been a few deliverables so far. Yesterday in Guatemala, we heard the vice president announce this new anti-corruption task force, as well as tens of millions of dollars in new U.S. investments to help develop the economies.
Go ahead, Dawan.
That comment, that response that she gave when he asked, you haven't been to the border. That's like, if I'm correct, that's like there's crime, you know what I'm saying, that's happening on your block.
Right.
Right? Then there's crime that's happening at your door. And my response is, well, I haven't been down the street. But you didn't address, you know what I'm saying, what's at your door. You didn't address, you know what I'm saying, the issue, you know what I'm saying, that's immediate, that's on you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Good night.
It's even deeper than that, to the point where it's not even that far. I mean, it's farther than what she's saying.
Right.
In relation. Like you saying at your door compared to the block. She's saying a completely different continent with a complete demographic, different peoples, races, different cultures, different issues and problems. Yeah.
Laws and everything.
Right. Everything's totally different. Europe is way more advanced than Guatemala. You know what I'm saying? That's her just deviating from the question just because she's stupid. She don't know how to answer the question from the media. That was a simple question. And all she had to do was say, no, I haven't been. But my people have been, my team has been, my department has been and reported all the information to me, and I'm on my way traveling to the border. You know what I'm saying? It could have been just as easy as that. But thank God she responded the way she responded, because it shows how stupid she is, how much of an idiot she is. Now what they're getting ready to talk about is the problem as to why people are coming from Guatemala. I want to see if you can catch this, Dawan, or anybody. Why are the people coming from Guatemala? She goes to Guatemala because it's not just Issachar, right? It's Zebulon. It's, who else is down there? Zebulon, that's Panama, Central America. Issachar. Who else is down there? There's another tribe. I'm trying to see. Asher is Brazil. It's mainly Zabalawan, right? Zebulon, that tribe that's coming from Nicaragua and Guatemala. That's that whole area there, right? Can you look on the map and get where Guatemala is? I know it's in that.
Yeah, just after the Panama Canal, just before Mexico.
Okay, right. Okay, so she goes to Guatemala because that's where Costa Rica is. Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Guatemala. What else is there? Ecuador. Yep. El Salvador, Ecuador.
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Lower.
But it's all part of the Central Panhandle, right?
Ecuador is South America.
Okay, all right. Is that the first country?
Colombia.
And then Ecuador? Okay. All right. But they come in Colombia, all of them coming up through that area from South America, as far as South America. So she goes to Guatemala. And listen what they about to say here. I want to know if anybody can catch this. Let me see if I can play it for y'all. Can I put it down?
President is making any progress here. Our White House correspondent Jeremy Diamond is live from Mexico City. Jeremy, does it appear that the administration, the vice president, is making any progress here?
Well, listen, there certainly have been a few deliverables so far. Yesterday in Guatemala, we heard the vice president announce this new anti-corruption task force, as well as tens of millions of dollars in new U.S. investments to help develop the economies of the Northern Triangle. Today, we saw the vice president meeting with the Mexican president, López Obrador, and they signed a memorandum of understanding outlining how they will help to address the development of Central American countries. And what's interesting here is there is this increasing alignment between the U.S. and Mexico on that front, given the fact.
Y'all hear what they saying? Beneath the surface, listen to what he says. Let it catch up. Oh, that's it. I want to put. I'll press it to
The importance of the border.
Our White House correspondent Jeremy Diamond is live from Mexico City. Jeremy, does it appear that the administration, the vice president, is making any progress here?
Well, listen, there certainly have been a few deliverables so far. Yesterday in Guatemala, we heard the vice president announce this new anti-corruption task force, as well as tens of millions of dollars in new
anti-corruption task force. That's cold word. Anybody know what that means? Anybody? Does anybody know what that means? Let me see if the this all is on the back. Does anybody know what that means? Honduras. The water, sis. Sister said Honduras. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all what that means. I'm going to tell y'all what anti-corruption means in Central America. All right? The reason why these people are running to the border is because there has been an issue there has been hell. Let me not say an issue. Let me say hell. Hell has been created in Central America, right? Been created in Central America by America, by the United States of America, to get all the drugs, okay? To get control of Central America. They've always said anti-corruption. What's corrupt? What's anti-corruption? What corruption are they talking about?
Drugs.
Say that again?
Drugs.
who set up the drugs. So now you got to go send some people in there. This is an old trick by the devil, by our oppressor. One of the oldest tricks in the book. You create the problem, right? So that way you can say that you have what? The solution. Yeah. Okay? All right? A lot of cities, like what's going on in Haiti and in Jamaica and Trinidad, even in the cities you live in, you ever notice that the gun violence ramp up when it's election time? Violence always ramps up when it's election time. Why is that? Why during election time, why is the violence more? Why is the drugs more? Why are the deaths in the streets more? You know why? Because the politicians create that atmosphere. It gives them what? A platform to stand on. Safer communities. Am I right or wrong? Everybody, they running for office here in Syracuse. You know what every candidate has said, Republican and Democrat? We're going to have safer communities. Another young person dies, right? You know what they say? We got to give something for these kids to do. Get these kids off the street. How the hell are children getting on the street? It's because their daddy don't care. It's the drugs. It ain't being raised right. The parents ain't raising them right no more. It's the drugs. How the hell is there drugs? And how come the father ain't dead? That's set up by the government. The government puts drugs in your community. They put guns in your community. There are videos in Chicago of truckloads of guns just being dropped off in the hood. Right? During the protests, during this last summer, there were truckloads of bricks just sitting randomly by the police stations and by these buildings. That wasn't planted there. They go into Central America and they set up these governments, right? That's what they're doing now. They're getting ready to put millions upon billions of dollars into Central America. Why? Why? Because they want to Americanize it and how they're going to get their money. They're going to set up coups. They're going to set up gangs. They're going to plant, what is it called when the CIA plants somebody? It's one of it's Call of Duty terms. Where they plant somebody, plant a spy somewhere, and the spy starts to control the entire military or the entire group. You know what I'm saying? An operative or whatever. They plant an operative inside of a cell or a location. They do these things consistently. Now they're going to put money into it because now they're going to get more and more drugs. Do you know what they just opened up last year? No, this past year. Didn't they just legalize something? Say that again, Dawa.
Marijuana.
Can you say that for me one more time?
Marijuana.
They just legalized marijuana. Now, the vice president and the president of the United States of America goes to Guatemala and Central America and Mexico and saying, we're on a new embark for a new era. We don't want your people to come over here, but we're going to put money into your communities so that we can flood your communities and make it better. You see the connection? You see the connection now, right? Now that they legalized marijuana in the United States, now we're going to have businesses over there where you slave work and you grow all the marijuana leaves. You grow all the marijuana plants. You grow all the coca plants. You grow all the opium and the poppy seed, and you bag it up for us. We give you a couple dollars. We give you a couple dollars. So now that they legalized the drugs, That's the business part that they're talking about. Let me play this video again. It's called Politics. Politics, idiots. Kamala Harris. What a dummy. Think that we don't know this.
U.S. investments to help develop the economies of the Northern Triangle. Today, we saw the Vice President meeting with the Mexican President López Obrador, and they signed a memorandum of understanding outlining how they will help to address the development of Central American countries. And what's interesting here is there is this increasing alignment between the U.S. and Mexico on that front, given the fact that Mexico, which has long been a transit country for migrants from Central America to the United States, now also increasingly becoming a destination country. And so therefore, Mexico and the U.S. much more aligned in terms of helping with development. In fact, the Mexican government has made calls for increasing development in Mexico. Now, you were also talking about the politics there, and the politics are hard to avoid when you're talking about immigration, whether you're doing so in Washington or thousands of miles away in Guatemala City or here in Mexico City. And that is because you heard the Vice President urging migrants not to come to the U.S. She took flack from the far left of the party, with Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez hitting her on that. And then when you saw those comments where she said that she hadn't been to the border, doesn't plan to be, and pointed out that she also hasn't been to Europe, she's taking flack from the right. So this is certainly an issue that has required some deft diplomacy on the Vice President's part, but also some walking of the political tightrope, and we're certainly continuing to see that as the Vice President wraps up her visit.
She said she ain't been to Europe. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Look, that one. Look at the advertisement. You get the advertisement? That's just a sidebar.
Okay.
The feet with the tattoo on the foot. What is it?
The henna.
Yeah. From where?
East Indian.
From India, man. That's crazy. That's India. This article is about Kamala Harris. Man, this is crazy. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Here we go.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Dang! I thought she was on our side. I thought we got her in office. Ain't she for us? AOC, this is the New York Post, blasts Kamala Harris for telling illegal immigrants to not come. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is blasting Vice President Kamala Harris for telling illegal immigrants, telling illegal immigrants to not come to the United States amid a record surge in illegal border crossings, calling the VIP's comments disappointing. Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York, offered the rebuke in a series of tweets Monday evening, retweeting a video of the Vice President discouraging illegal immigration during her trip to Guatemala. I want to be clear to folks in this region. Let me see. Let me see if she's just. Okay. Salakia. I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come, here it said while speaking to reporters at a press conference alongside Guatemalan President Alejandro V. Metel. Let me see what it said. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look up, she got a man? Alexandria. OAC. I'm about to check this out. Get a sister a hand, boy. Get a sister a hand. The sister deserves a hand, man. She's standing up to the vice president who, quote unquote, looks like her, is supposedly to be like her sister, not only a Democrat, but, you know, a black woman, supposedly a Caribbean black woman who come from immigrants. So the sister is saying, this is disappointing to see. First, seeking asylum at any U.S. border is a 100% legal method of arrival. The sister knows the law. That's legal. Second, the U.S. spent decades contributing to regime change and, oh my goodness, destabilization in Latin America. We can't help set someone's house on fire and then blame them for flint. The sister deserves a flyer, man. That sister is, whoo, man. That was heavy. Damn. It would be helpful if the U.S. would finally acknowledge its contributions to destabilizing and regime change in the region. Doing so can help us change U.S. foreign policy, trade policy, climate policy, and carceral border policy to address causes of mass displacement and migration. Mm-hmm. That's heavy. That is heavy. That sister said, man, we can't help set someone's house on fire and then blame them for fleeing. Damn! That sister all the way on, man. That sister all the way locked in. You gotta give it up to that sister. Man, oh man. In Psalms chapter 83. These nations hate us. These nations hate and despise us all the way. Okay. The sister all the way right. The sister said, the corrupt has created an anti-corruption force. You get what I'm saying? Like the devil is going to create an anti-devil movement. The Department of Justice, with support from the Department of State, will create an anti-corruption task force that would include U.S. prosecutors and law enforcement experts to investigate and prosecute corruption cases with a nexus in the United States, Guatemala, and the, oh my goodness, in the region. The water says, Psalm chapter 83. I'm going to read it from the top, verse 1. Psalm chapter 83. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. All right? This is us praying to the Most High Power to free us from our enemies. Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies, the enemies of the Most High, the enemies of Israel are the enemies of the Most High. And the enemies of the Most High are the enemies of Israel. When I say Israel, once again, I'm speaking of the blacks, the Hispanics, the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Guatemalans, the so-called Hondurans, the so-called Panamanians, the so-called Costa Ricans, the so-called Mexicans, the so-called Ecuadorians, the so-called Colombians, the so-called Brazilians, the so-called Argentinians, the so-called Peruvians, all the way down. The Chileans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Trinidadians, the Guyanese, the Guyanese, all the way through the islands. The so-called Negro in the ghettos, in the slums, and the barrios. The so-called Natives Americans. My goodness. You have enemies. The American government is out to destroy you and continue to keep you in a destroyed state. This is your oppressor, and the oppressor has never changed because you are still in your slave state. Well, they create hell for you. They call it crabs in the barrel. Or they create the barrel and put you in the barrel with all the rest of the people that's poor and struggling and dying to get out. Striving to get out of this damn filthy bucket. Who wants to live in a bucket? So yeah, you're going to be upset and angry with the person right next to you because you're filled with depression. You're filled with stress, hate, and anger. And the only way out of this bucket is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. The ISUPK. That's the only place where salvation is. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I don't know how we don't understand it. How we continue not to see how destroyed we are, man. This is for our enemies. Let's pray this to the Most High. All right? Verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Or they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, and the list goes on, right? And on top of the list is Edom. Let's do this one part again. Where they have made a tumult. Thine enemies make a tumult. Once again, man, that's what that is. That's what that millions to the economy of Guatemala, the millions to the economy of Mexico. That's a tumult. That's a trap. That's a setup. You mean to tell me the poor people of Mexico, the poor people of Guatemala, they going to see that money? They going to get that money? You're going to build up an infrastructure so great in Guatemala to where these people won't be struggling anymore? That sister hit it dead on the head, man. She says, you put a house on fire and then blame the people when they leave the burning house. Damn, that was deep. That was deep. You blame the people as if they're the ones that made it corrupt. You made it corrupt, man. You made it corrupt. I'm just waiting for them to go to Asia. I'm just waiting for them to go to Asia, go to China, go to India, and tell them not to come to America. Go over there specifically and tell them, don't come. You're not welcome here. We got law enforcement. You ever been in Niagara Falls in recent years? Lie. In Niagara Falls, man. Last time I've been to Niagara Falls, this was a couple years ago. They had nothing but East Indian food trucks. Like how you go to there's a park right at Niagara Falls in the United States. It's a park and it's a trail that you walk through, and it's like all open spaces, and it just got like this long walkway with all these food trucks. It was all East Indian food trucks. And I'm just like, man, all these East Indians coming from? All these Asian, Chinese food trucks. Wow, this is crazy. This is about 3 years ago. And I'm just like, man, so they can have all this right at this border. I wonder if they're documented immigrants or are they illegal immigrants? Because they're just coming right over from the border of Niagara Falls. Nobody's at that border stopping immigration. If they're so heavy against the immigration laws, why aren't they at the border of Canada? Because a lot of the Asian, when we went to Montreal, it was Chinatown in Montreal. When we went to Toronto, it was Asians everywhere. Sister Barack Obama told me straight up, she said, it's nothing but Asians in Toronto. It's a lot of Asians in Toronto. And where some of the billboards and signs in Toronto, in Canada, are in Mandarin or some Chinese dialect. And I'm just like, wow. But nobody's at the border of America and Canada saying, don't come. Why is that? They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. It's because you're an Israelite. It's because you're God's chosen people. It's been prophesied in this Bible. There's another precept I was thinking of. Might go through it again, man. They're about to go through it again. Because they hate the 12 tribes of Israel again, they're trying to, they won't even consider telling the Indians of India not to come to America. Their focus is on you. They don't want us over here. They don't want us together. Why? I'm going to just read what General Muhammad had brought out during Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Does America not have space? Is that what they're saying? America doesn't have space? Physical space? That can't be true. That can't be true, man. Shout out to the brother in Dallas, Yashamar.
Yeah.
Yeah. captain down there in Dallas, Yashamar, just bought 40 acres? 40 acres of land in Texas. So you can't tell me that there's no land that physically these people can't come here. Why can't you just sign them up at the border? Say, all right, go to these places because this is where all this open land is. There's nothing but open land in Texas and in New Mexico and in Arizona and in Utah. All those areas where Mexico used to be. Oh my goodness, man. Let me put up this. There we go. Put this map up. You see this? Do you see this? Do you see where Mexico are? Texas. There's a city in Texas called Texas or something like that. There's a city in California called Calimex or something like that. It just, yo, this is crazy. Do you see what Mexico used to be? This is Mexico. This is all Mexico. There's a state called New Mexico. That's crazy to me. And y'all hate the Mexicans for, oh my goodness, for coming into Mexico. Now, when you look at these areas now, it's all the same. It's not like it's changed. Unexplored areas. Salakia. That's crazy to me, man. That's just crazy. Oh, Salakia. Look at that. That's crazy. That is crazy. All this is Mexico, man. All right, I'm gonna get off of that. That's crazy to me. Go to a bedrock scripture of the ISUPK. I'm going to Zephaniah chapter 2. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. We are called the undesirable ones. Okay? O nation not desired. We get told by the person we put in office, because we thought she was going to help blacks and Hispanics and be on the sides of blacks and Hispanics. Right? But we are undesired. Okay? Gather yourselves together. Yea, Gather together, O nation not desired. That's us, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of North, Central, and South America, it's a must that we come together. It's a must. And we must do it now, as it's a detriment. What's that on the Statue of Liberty? What's it called? There it is. Give us your tired and your poor. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Man. Now, this is what they say to the Europeans. This is what they say to the Asians. This is what they say to the East Indians in India. This is what they say to the Chinese, the Germans, the French, the British, the Jewish, the Israelis. And they just passed the legislation, a law. If you get caught telling a Chinese person, go back home, go to China, you're going to get arrested. You will get arrested for saying that to an Asian. But Kamala Harris goes to Guatemala and she doesn't say what America says about the golden doors. She don't say, give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. Man. She don't say that. Instead, she says, don't come. Man. And the ISUPK, man, we continue to live on these scriptures that say, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. For Israel, man. Our prayer is for Israel to be saved. Because no other nation is going to do it. So we must focus only on ours. And only on our own. The Asians got legislation. The Indians got countries in the East Indians of India. They got countries and military. The Israelis, the Palestinians, all of them have all these things, man. So what should our desire be? Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. That's heavy, man. That should be on our minds and hearts, non-stop. For Israel. That's brotherhood. Okay? The ultimate sacrifice from our King, Yahawashi, whom the world calls Jesus. Right? Yahawashi Mashiach, Jesus Christ. Okay? Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies. The same as the sister was bringing out. They the ones that set the house on fire. And you mad at the people from fleeing the house on fire. Man, that's deep, man. That is deep. That's heavy that that sister said that. Absolutely heavy that that sister said that. That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all them that hate us. They hate us. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant us that we, being delivered out of the hands of our enemies, might serve him without fear. That's all we want. All right? Okay? And with that, in my dial one, we'll pass the class over to priest and officer, dial one the book. Is still on the camera? Okay. Oh, this is okay. So oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right.
We're the
Shalom, Israel.
ISUPK Security Mounted. We're the ISUPK started at 1 West 125th Street under the leadership of Commander John YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into a school, they are off limits